Today I'm going to see which one of these router bits does a better job of cutting all sorts. Both top and bottom bearing flush trim bits. 1/2 inch shank, the Hongdui compression router bit set, and comparing it with this 12-bit carbide insert flush trim router bit. One costs 100 quid and one costs 50 quid. Which do you think will cut better? Which do you think is the £100 bit and which one do you think is the £50 bit? In a moment I'll ask you which one is which, because clearly I have too much time on my hands. Look, I'm not going to waste your time and compare these two bits to your traditional twin flute router bits. Those chatter too much, they lose an edge quickly, lose an edge faster than a pound shop knife, and cost almost as much as what I'm about to show you. What's coming next might surprise you, or not, depends on how jaded you are. 1/2 inch shank. You won't find these as 6 or 8mm shanks. If you do, drop it like third period French. Believe it or not, I have seen people asking if you can get these in 6 and 8mm shanks. With this one you've got 12 carbide cutters, like I said, so you've got 4 sides you can use. 63mm cut capacity, in theory. Basically a mini thicknesser block. With this one you can take off loads in one pass, but I wouldn't. Work down to 1/2 mil, 1 mil, make a pass and do a finish pass. Very industrial looking, possibly deadly, probably the cheaper one, unless I'm wrong. The replacement inserts are 12mm square. That'll save you money later. Less vibration than a twin flute if you get the speed right. No speed rating was given with this, so start low and creep up. You know you've got it right because it'll go from a comfy cruise to fuck and vibrate like a dog's tail at Mark 2. I already know this bit's the business, except for the radius cuts, but I'll test it anyway. The Hongdui bit, again top and bottom bearing, but spiral compression. Compression is cut up and down, hence the name compression, and at the same time. So in theory you get a cleaner edge. Comes with 7 bearings, which can be changed only at the top, not at the shank. Coated in a TVR paint job. It's actually a TA-C coating. Tetrahedral amorphous carbon, basically DLC. Hard, low friction, wears slow, used in automotive and cutting tools. Or in a router bit language, justification for charging you more. For testing I chose an old Maloof pattern, and I chose this one particularly because it's curved, so we'll get router bit going across end grain and long grain. Normally I'd lay the pattern down, get my finish line marked down, then move the pattern bit over 1mm, over that line, make a cut, put it back to the line and make a finish pass. Quick tip for you though, and I got this from Josh. If you put some masking tape on there, make your cut, pull the masking tape off and make your finish pass. Much better idea. I'm also going to be testing on some HDPE plastic, because why not add a bit of danger? One thing that's worth pointing out to you, you're thinking these are expensive. They're actually not. They are in the sense you're paying for them, but in the long run that's going to save you money. The closest bit I could find online to this size, cutting capacity, everything else, as a straight standard twin flute carbide tip router cutter, costs 25 quid. This has 12 carbide inserts. This is going to cut better than a twin fluted cutter bit. You've also got 4 sides to each of these cutters, so you're going to have 3 times the lifespan, if up more in fact, because these last longer than the standard router bits we're talking about. And then you've got 3 extra sides, so you're probably wondering how much do the carbide inserts cost to replace. So like I said, there's 12 of them. Well, I found them for £20 to replace all of those 12 teeth. So that's £4 cheaper than your bog standard router bit. And you're going to get at least 3 times more life from them spending 25 quid on a twin fluted pattern bit.
Round 1, fight!
Now off the bat, me and Josh had a kind of sportsman bet. Which router do we think is going to cut the best? And we both agreed that we thought the spiral cutter bit in front of you would do the best job. And yes, I'm using the masking tape trick get me close to let the router bit have very little work to do when it comes to the finishing pass to get them the best results. Now remember, I chose this pattern so it gave me not only side grain but also end grain, starting on end grain and finishing on end grain to really test the bit. Now we were both over the moon with this result, but if you look closely you can see a slight porous end grain, and if you run your fingers over the end grain areas you can hear the difference in smoothness. Make no mistake about it, that's perfectly good finish. Well, it's more than a perfectly good finish. It was almost a burnished finish.
Round 2, fight!
But this blew my wormhole right open. Incredible finish. There's no roughness whatsoever over either end of those the end grain. Smooth as a baby bum. Burnished finish kind of thing. I mean, incredible. I've never seen a finish like that from a router bit in my life. We were extremely impressed with the cut from that. Now, as you may have noticed earlier, that the Hongdui bit comes with 6 or 7 different sized bearings, so you can do rebates. So I'm going to quickly show you what depth of cut these do and what's the how good is the rebate, you know. You can do this without raising the router bit and holding the collet with the spanner. If you're brave, you can do it by hand, because you can't actually physically tighten up that screw so tight that you can't hold the router bit and undo the screw. As it turns out, really, that router bit, the way it's designed, can only utilise 2 or 3 of those bearings because there is no horizontal cutter on the top of that router. Let me show you what I mean. So you see here where that router bit then curves. That's really the end of the cutting point. If you put a bearing anywhere inside that, there's just nothing to cut any wood, right? You see what I mean? There's no cutter there for that. So that space there that's not cutting wood. You probably already guessed it. The most expensive bit is the Hongdui with the TVR paint job. The finish from the spiral pattern bit is frankly ridiculous. Probably the way to go if you like your edges looking smug. I couldn't find a direct cousin of this bit, but for argument's sake I found a trend twin flute cutter with a 50mm cut capacity coming in at 50 quid. One advantage of course though is the tighter radius work you can do with that, which is handy if you're into coasters or hamster furniture. Can this Hongdui bit do the work of 2 trend bits? My gut says yes, probably a bit more, but there's too many variables. Run it too hot, it's toast. Soft gummy wood, dense hardwood, doesn't matter. All cutters suffer. The difference though is you won't get this level of cut quality from a twin fluted bit. I've generally never seen anything quite like it. Incredible finish. At one point I had to have a double take and make sure that wood was in contact with the cutter. There was no resistance to it. It was fantastic. The Hewlett cutter with 4 cutting faces and £20 replacement inserts is going to last ages. And sure, the initial outlay is high, but after that you're basically saving money while pretending to be an adult. Would I personally spend 100 quid on a router bit? Depends. If I can charge it to a job, yep. For my own use though, I think I'd stick with the spiral bit. I've now got 2 of these. Yeah, I tell myself it's an investment in fewer furry edges, slightly less sanding. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. See you next week.